Tonight I'm taking us on the journey of rethinking reconciliation. The journey stops at four main places. What is reconciliation? How do we rethink reconciliation? Why do we need to rethink reconciliation? And how do we realise reconciliation? So what is reconciliation? The reconciliation I'm talking about is the capital R reconciliation between Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and non-Indigenous peoples in this land that we now call Australia. So often in our country, reconciliation has become just a word, but it is so much more than that. Reconciliation is a journey, it's an action, and it affects real people's lives. It's here that I could stop and tell you of all the statistics of disadvantage facing my peoples, but that's your homework. So what I'd rather do is talk to you about my friends. Friends are awesome, aren't they? Well, most of the time anyway. Friends share joy and sorrow, celebration and commemoration. They're there for a hug or to wipe away a tear. They listen when you are angry and when life doesn't seem fair. They jump up and down with us in excitement, and they can share that belly-roaring laughter with us. They're even there to go a bit cray-cray with us or have a bit of fun. And it's blessed are the pirates, right? Why do pirates believe in reconciliation? Well, because reconciliation starts with the capital R. Yep, that's it. Maybe I should leave that comedy to Deborah Mailman or Nakia Louie. Our friends know us inside out and upside down. They just have to look at you and they know that something isn't right. So it's here I want you to think of your two closest friends. I want you to picture them. And obviously I had trouble picking two, and that's why I shared 5 of my friends with you. There's Natalie, Safina, Penny, Susan and Naomi, Susan being my fellow pirate. And picture those 2 closest friends. Now, were either of them Aboriginal? Do you even have an Aboriginal friend? If you do you know what Aboriginal nation they are from? Do you know if they are part of the stolen generations? 90% of Australians do not know an Aboriginal person. And if you don't know us, how can reconciliation happen? There's actually about 100,000 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across southeast Queensland. So how do we rethink reconciliation? My concept of rethinking reconciliation is to think of it as friendship. I often say if we thought about reconciliation as friendship, we could close that gap a whole lot quicker. The Bible even talks about friends, doesn't it? 2 are better than 1 because they have good reward for their toil, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. Why do we need to rethink reconciliation? Because it matters to this 17-year-old Aboriginal girl. This photo was taken 20 years ago, nearly to the day. As a 17-year-old, I thought reconciliation would be achieved by the year 2000, and that would also mean a treaty by the year 2000. But here, tonight, 20 years later, there is no reconciliation and there is no treaty. Why do we need to rethink reconciliation? Because of the blood on the wattle, the wound in our nation's soul. Because we have not dealt with our true history. Because our land is broken in a mess in chaos. Because our nation is divided. Our nation needs healing. Our land needs healing. Our peoples need healing. The path forward can be found in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and heal their land. So often we are told as Aboriginal peoples that we need to forgive. What you don't realise is that we have already forgiven. I cannot live in this land called Australia without having forgiven. Our reality of Australia in 2017 brings us as Aboriginal peoples to our knees in prayer each and every day. How do we realise reconciliation? Well, it's actually about you realising our nation is divided and that it's been divided for over 200 years. It's about you hearing our call to you to come and walk with us as we share our journey of over 2,000 generations, of over 65,000 years, of walking with the Creator in the lands we now call Australia. The journey to healing is within our reach, yours and mine. It's found at the foot of the cross, and we are there waiting for you. The question is, will you join us as our friends, taking the steps towards realising reconciliation in Australia? As Uncle Pastor Sir Doug Nichols said, you can play a tune on black keys, you can play a tune on white keys, but both are needed for perfect harmony. As Aboriginal peoples, we can't do reconciliation on our own. And as the painting by my sister, Waka Waka artist Jasmin which is titled, Will You, as it says, and I hope as it beckons to you, will you take my hand? Will you listen to my songs? Will you walk with me? Will you help me find truth? Will you help me seek justice? Will you please, please, please take my hand? The Aboriginal hand of friendship is extended to you. You see, each one of you are part of my hope for this nation. I look into your eyes and I see Jesus. Sadly, when some, and often it feels like many, non-Aboriginal people look into our eyes, the eyes of their Aboriginal brothers and sisters, they see us as some of your ancestors did, as flora and fauna, or today as a problem to be fixed, or even worse, somehow we become invisible. I look into your eyes and I see the tears Jesus weeps for both and all our peoples as he yearns for relationship and healing in this land we now call Australia. I look into your eyes searching for love for my peoples, not solutions, because we as Aboriginal peoples have those. The governments and the church structures in our nation just don't want to listen. I look into your eyes wondering if you will walk away from this place and here promising to rethink reconciliation. Now go back and picture those two friends that you thought about earlier. And if you do have Aboriginal friends, think of them as well, put them in that picture. And if you don't have an Aboriginal friend, pray for one. And with that image of your friends in mind, picture them in terms of those Bible verses on friendship I shared earlier. See, I'm not talking about the Facebook type of friendship, but the friendship that is meant to be the church, which is you and I. It's the friendship that is about being brothers and sisters whom we love, whom you love, and for whom you will lay down your life. It's time that we lived out these biblical mandates with Aboriginal brothers and sisters, knowing that 73% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples are Christian. Rethink reconciliation like this: praying together for change, sitting together in pain, standing together for justice, walking whilst holding hands together in friendship. Through reconciliation, may we see the prayer of healing our divided nation be realised, a conciliation and a healing Jesus has been waiting for over 247 years. It's time that we brought reconciliation to this land we now call Australia.